we're really research-based. We do a lot of research, and the pilot programs that we did with hundreds of students, like on Draft 3, if you can imagine hundreds of kids getting a manuscript of Britfield before it's finished, getting 3 weeks to read it, filling out a 2.5-page survey, and then I actually came into schools and would do roundtables with the kids 4 to 5 at a time for an hour. So much of my research is based in that market and what they like to read and their reading habits. I mean, one of the things that are interesting is that they love the paperback. They love the hardcover. They're not ebook people. They like to hold the book in their hands. And there's just a lot of ideas that they had given me and a lot of feedback that's been wonderful, which we used, for the book to refine it. We've scored a 9.03 out of a scale of 1 to 10 across all demographics. So for me, that's just knocking the ball out of the park. And we know we've got a winner. We've got a great book.
Well, Chad, let's talk about, you mentioned redeeming elements, and I wanted to explore that just a bit. Obviously, with our audience, Christian audience, you're here at NRB, which is a Christian Communicators Convention. So talk about what we might call the faith or the redemptive elements, because obviously Christian parents are looking for books that are consistent with their values or their deeply held beliefs. So what would you say to them?
Yeah, you won't find any agenda in this book. You won't find anything notorious. It's just a clean book written on, if you will, biblical principles. We like to call it stealth evangelism, but our audience is a mainstream audience. But the Christian market is going to be our beachhead, along with the conservatives. They'll love the book. We're actually developing an 80 to 90 page study guide, just like other books. So you could this could be taught in homeschools. This can be taught over a semester in school. It's created and designed to be taught. There's so many elements to it, word usage, vocabulary. But based on the principles, like I said, we like to call it stealth evangelism. It's about courage and character, about telling the truth. It's about love. Family is a huge anchor. I mean, the foundation of the whole book is all about the importance of family. Quality of life, sacrifice, revelations, giving up your life for someone else. All those principles and threads are throughout the book.
And in addition to teaching these character elements, people along the way can also learn about such matters as history and geography and architecture. So you're really including some of these cultural elements, if you will, that can also help young people gain information and insight.
Correct. Just to come kind of full circle about what you're saying is why write for this particular audience and what was that process like? And part of it was I spent 2 years in England, and so I've really conveyed a lot of my fun and love for England and the British people in the book. A lot of my growing up, obviously there's a lot of elements of me in this book that come across. And if you were to divide this into 3 areas, like if you were a mother and I was telling her why buy this for your daughter or your son, I'd say number 1, it's a fast-paced adventure novel that your kids will absolutely love to read, even if they're not readers. And we've had 5 or 6 parents that are like, my son doesn't read, he doesn't like reading. And next they'll send me a picture and he's like on page 80 or 90, devouring the book in 5 to 6 hours. And this is almost a 400-page book. On the second side of it, you have the family values. And on the third side, you have all the history, architecture, geography, culture that's interwoven through the entire book. So it's really an educational book. Kids will leave this knowing more about England and history and the appreciation of art, all the distances, times. We use all the different elements, the streets, everything about it. It really brings England alive.
The name of the book is Britfield and the Lost Crown. C.R. Stewart joining me here, Faith Radio in the Meeting House at NRB 2019. So, Chad, as we conclude our conversation today, give us an idea about what you would want the reader, in summary, to really glean from the pages of this book.
I think it's we've all seen a great movie that's impacted us, that's stayed with us our whole life. We've all read a great book that's really impacted us and stayed with us our whole life. And that's really what I'm hoping Britfield will be. It's an encouraging, fun book that really instills great values and excites the reader. And it's just a fun book. It was fun to write, although a lot of work. But it's just a fun book to read, and it was a fun book to write. And like I said, our youngest reader was 8. Our oldest reader's been 73 years old. And so it's really crossed the gap also in all age groups. And we've got parents that love it. Everyone supports it. So it's an amazing book.